Calum Scott captured the hearts of millions with his unforgettable audition on Britain's Got Talent, his voice breaking through with raw emotion that left both judges and audiences in tears. Overnight, it seemed like his life had changed forever. But the story that followed was anything but simple. Behind the scenes, Calum faced struggles that no one saw on stage, battles with self-doubt, the pressures of sudden fame, and the personal sacrifices that came with chasing a dream that millions only imagine. While the cameras captured the applause and the glamour, the reality of what he endured was far more complicated. After the show, Calum's journey took unexpected turns. Record deals, sold-out concerts, and viral hits painted a picture of instant success, but the truth was that fame brought challenges he wasn't prepared for. Questions about identity, the weight of expectations, and navigating a music industry that often rewards appearance over talent left him questioning if he could stay true to himself. Fans only saw the polished performances and emotional ballads, but the life behind the microphone was filled with uncertainty, heartbreak, and moments of isolation that are rarely spoken about. And yet, Calum Scott didn't give up. His resilience, determination, and the unwavering passion for music pushed him to create songs that connected with millions worldwide. But even with that success, whispers and rumors about what really happened after BGT continued to swirl. How did a shy, timid contestant evolve into an international star? What obstacles did he face that almost derailed his career? And what personal battles did he fight that his fans would never suspect? In this video, we dive deep into the untold story of Calum Scott, the struggles, the triumphs, and the shocking truths behind the headlines. Prepare to see the real Calum Scott, beyond the performances, beyond the fame, and behind the voice that captivated the world. Calum Scott wasn't always the confident performer that millions would come to know. Born in Kingston upon Hull, England, he grew up in a quiet household, often blending into the background. Music was his escape. While other kids played football or went out with friends, Calum spent hours alone singing in his bedroom, recording covers on his phone, and dreaming of a stage far bigger than the local pubs and school halls he had performed in. His voice, clear, emotive, and unexpectedly powerful, was a gift, but it was also a secret. Even his closest friends didn't know the full depth of his talent. Growing up, Calum struggled with self-confidence. The boy who could move an entire room to tears with a single note often hesitated to perform publicly. School talent shows were terrifying, and early auditions ended in rejection. Yet each no only fueled a quiet determination. Behind the timid exterior, a fire was burning, a need to prove that his voice deserved to be heard. It wasn't about fame at first. It was about validation, about discovering that the feelings he poured into song could resonate with others. The turning point came when Calum discovered Britain's Got Talent. The show was a platform for dreamers, a chance to step onto a stage where millions would watch. For someone who had spent years in the shadows, it was terrifying and thrilling. Auditioning required not just talent, but courage. Every step, from rehearsals to walking onto that massive stage, tested his nerves. He knew that one wrong note could ruin everything, but he also understood that this might be the only chance to change his life forever. When Calum sang his audition piece, the world stopped for a moment. His voice, pure and heartfelt, reached beyond the walls of the studio and into homes across the country. Judges were visibly moved. Simon Cowell, known for his tough demeanor, admitted that he felt a connection to the performance. The audience erupted in applause, and viewers at home couldn't help but be drawn to the quiet young man who sang as if he were telling his own story directly to them. This was more than a performance, it was an unmasking, a moment where Calum allowed the world to see the real him, vulnerable and honest. But fame didn't hit overnight. Behind the scenes, the nerves lingered. Even as fans flooded social media with praise, Calum struggled with anxiety, wondering if he could handle the expectations. Every comment, every tweet felt magnified. The shy boy from Hull suddenly had a spotlight pointing directly at him. And though the applause was intoxicating, it also came with pressure he hadn't anticipated. This of Calum Scott's journey sets the stage for what was to come. It wasn't just about talent. It was about resilience, about stepping into fear and singing anyway. The boy who once hid in his bedroom was now facing a new world, one full of opportunity. but also filled with challenges that would test him in ways the audience could never see after his unforgettable audition on Britain's Got Talent. Calum Scott's life changed almost overnight. Doors that had once seemed impossible to open swung wide, and opportunities came faster than he could process. Record labels reached out, interview requests flooded in, and social media exploded with fans eager to follow every step of his journey. But with this sudden rise came pressures that Calum wasn't fully prepared for. The quiet boy from Hull was now navigating a world he had only dreamed about. And the weight of expectation began to press heavily on his shoulders. While many saw only the glamorous side of his life, the red carpets, the sold-out shows, the accolades, few understood the struggles that accompanied success. Calum found himself facing the harsh realities of the music industry: constant scrutiny, grueling schedules, and the pressure to maintain an image that sometimes felt at odds with who he truly was. Nights once spent in comfort and solitude were replaced by endless rehearsals, travel, and media appearances. The loneliness that fame often brings became a quiet companion, despite being surrounded by crowds of admirers. At the same time, Calum's creative process evolved under pressure. Writing songs that resonated with millions was no longer just a personal outlet. It was a responsibility. Each lyric, each note carried the expectation of success. His vulnerability on stage became both a gift and a challenge, as fans connected with the raw emotion in his performances. Yet he often questioned if he could sustain that level of honesty without exposing too much of himself. The delicate balance between authenticity and public image became an ongoing internal struggle. Amidst this whirlwind, Calum faced personal challenges that rarely made headlines. He struggled with self-doubt, wondering if he truly belonged in the spotlight or if his early success was just a fleeting moment. The intense scrutiny on social media amplified every insecurity, every perceived flaw. Behind the smiles and perfectly pitched notes, there were nights of uncertainty and anxiety, moments when he questioned whether the path he had chosen was worth the cost to his mental and emotional well-being. Despite these challenges, Calum Scott's determination never wavered. He poured himself into music with relentless dedication, turning struggles into songs that would touch hearts worldwide. Hits like Dancing on My Own showcased not only his vocal talent but also his ability to translate pain and personal experience into art. Fans didn't just hear a voice, they felt his journey, his triumphs, and his hidden battles. This of Calum's life reveals a side of fame that many never see: the unglamorous, exhausting, and emotionally taxing reality behind the bright lights. It's a story of resilience, of a young man who embraced both his talent and his vulnerabilities, learning to navigate a world that demanded perfection while staying true to the heart that first captured the audience's attention on a humble audition stage. As Calum continued to rise, the world watched the polished performances and chart-topping hits. But the personal struggles remained largely hidden, a testament to the price of fame and the quiet strength it took to endure it. By the time Calum Scott had begun touring internationally, the magnitude of his fame had fully set in. The shy, quiet boy who once sang alone in his bedroom now stood on massive stages, performing to thousands of fans who knew every note and lyric of his songs. Yet behind the standing ovations and roaring applause, the pressures of being a public figure began to weigh heavily on him. The music industry, while offering opportunity, was relentless. And Calum soon realized that success came with its own set of battles, many invisible to the adoring fans. One of the most difficult challenges was balancing authenticity with expectation. Fans adored him for his raw vulnerability, the emotions in his voice, and the personal stories he shared through song. But the industry often pushed for formulas, for hits that would chart quickly, sometimes at the expense of his creative freedom. Calum struggled to navigate these conflicting demands, wanting to stay true to himself while also meeting the high expectations of record labels, managers, and millions of listeners worldwide. Each decision felt like a test of integrity and resilience. Alongside professional pressures, personal struggles began to surface. Fame intensified the scrutiny on every aspect of his life. Social media, once a tool to connect with fans, became a double-edged sword, offering praise one moment and criticism or invasive speculation the next. Calum had to learn how to protect his mental and emotional health while still engaging with the audience that loved him. Even simple activities, like walking down the street or attending public events, required constant awareness, and the loss of privacy became an unavoidable reality of his life. Additionally, the lifestyle of touring and recording brought physical and emotional exhaustion. Nights blurred into mornings, schedules were relentless, and the constant travel made it difficult to maintain personal relationships. The moments of solitude he had cherished in his early life were now rare and fleeting. Despite the glamour of sold-out shows and international recognition, there were times when the loneliness felt suffocating, a stark contrast to the joy he brought to others through his music. Yet, contrast to the joy he brought to us music, yet to others through his music. Through these struggles, Calum's determination never faltered. He transformed challenges into creative fuel, writing songs that resonated deeply with his audience. The vulnerability that once made him anxious became a source of connection and empowerment. Each performance was not just entertainment, it was a testament to endurance, courage, but not just entertainment. It was a testament to endurance, courage, and the ability to embrace one's flaws while pursuing greatness. This period in Calum Scott's journey illustrates the hidden cost of success. While the world saw the accolades, the sold-out tours, and the chart-topping songs, the internal battles were largely unseen. Anxiety, self-doubt, and the constant pressure to perform perfectly shadowed his rise, yet he endured. Slowly learning to navigate fame on his own terms. Shows that behind every note, every high-profile appearance, and every viral performance, there was a young man striving to reconcile the demands of fame with the need to remain grounded. It's a reminder that the path to stardom is rarely linear, and that the most compelling stories often lie behind the spotlight, in the quiet moments of struggle and growth. After years of navigating the highs and lows of fame, Calum Scott has reached a stage in his life and career where reflection and balance have become priorities. The shy teenager who once hid in his bedroom singing alone has transformed into a confident artist. Yet he remains deeply grounded and conscious of the journey that brought him here. The struggles, the heartbreak, and the relentless pressures of the music industry have shaped him, teaching lessons about resilience, self-acceptance, and the importance of mental health. In recent years, Calum has focused on carving a path that allows him to stay authentic while pursuing his music on his own terms. He has become selective about the projects he takes on, ensuring that each song reflects his voice, experiences, and emotions rather than just industry trends. This conscious choice has allowed him to reconnect with the reason he fell in love with music in the first place: the power to tell stories, evoke emotion, and create meaningful connections with listeners. Fans notice this authenticity in every performance, every lyric, and every interview. Away from the spotlight, Calum has prioritized self-care and personal growth. He openly acknowledges the toll that early fame and constant scrutiny took on his mental and emotional well-being. By addressing these challenges head-on, he has become an advocate for artists and fans alike, emphasizing the importance of mental health and the pressures of the entertainment industry. This openness not only humanizes him but also strengthens the bond with fans, who see him not just as a star, but as a person who has overcome vulnerability and anxiety to thrive. Calum's evolution also extends to his personal life. The young man who once felt isolated now understands the value of meaningful relationships, support networks, and surrounding himself with people who encourage authenticity. Despite his global fame, he remains humble, approachable, and connected to his roots. Hull, his hometown, still holds a special place in his heart, a reminder of where it all began, and the shy boy who dared to dream big. As he continues to release new music and tour internationally, Calum Scott's story is far from over. Yet, what makes it truly inspiring is not just his rise to fame, but his journey through struggle, self-discovery, and resilience. From Britain's Got Talent to worldwide recognition, he has faced rejection, anxiety, and the pressures of an unforgiving industry and emerged stronger, wiser, and more grounded than ever. This concludes the journey of the real Calum Scott, a young man whose talent opened doors, whose struggles tested him, and whose perseverance has shaped him into the artist and person he is today. The story behind The Voice reveals that fame is only part of the picture. The real triumph lies in finding balance, embracing authenticity, and turning challenges into strength. Fans may hear the music, but now they understand the man behind it, the battles he fought quietly, and the resilience that continues to define him.